Hello and welcome to round 20 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in Live for Speed. A week earlier than originally billed, but we're glad to be here at Aston National at a track that is synonymous really with the GTI class, although, as you'll see from tonight's grid, just one of the GTI class really on show tonight. Although both cars were on offer, we have 34 qualifiers currently in the XRG, the rear-wheel drive version. Or rear-wheel drive car in the GTI class. Here they both are. We'll only see the rear of the bottom of the two of these cars in the session this evening, owing to its higher top speed and its performance around AS3. It's got a 1.8 litre inline-4 front-engine rear-wheel drive configuration, weighing just over a tonne. And I think I hear in the background, is that Fraz? Fraz, you with us?
I am. I'm here, guys.
Welcome. I'm just in time to talk about the qualifying session that you've just concluded. Do you want to talk us through that?
Well, I honestly couldn't even tell you who's on pole. I know Joe went out first, and I know TJ went out last. But they're all just little triangles to me on the track.
Yeah, well, before we ran our results script, Joe Holmes was first, but he is now not first, and I've just updated the results owing to TJ's very, very, very late lap time that he's just set. And yeah, I can confirm that it's TJ for Road Fraser who snatches pole position away from Joe Holmes. And yeah, while we talk about that, we do need to let everyone know that because we are a week earlier than billed, we are not going to be having the two races that we normally have on the broadcast. Instead, it's just going to be one race tonight. It's going to be a 25-lap epic, which is a bit of a change for us, Fraz. Again, back to the single race configuration, which is fine because it's a little bit different, isn't it? We get a different style of racing in this one.
Yeah, well, hopefully some suspension or tires come into play, but they rarely do here. But yeah, it is a different race because you can't be so aggressive early on.
Yeah, won't have any problems with tyres or suspension, I don't think, unless somebody does something very wrong. However, we will have opportunities for slipstreaming, of course. This track has extremely long straights, and we do have that mandatory pit stop. So the drivers have still got to do a strategy on the pit stop. So that's going to leave a little bit of intrigue, especially if we get some incidents and accidents in the first few laps, which, with the size of grid that we have here, is pretty inevitable, I would say. Let's take a look at the calendar then. We won't be broadcasting in June. However, we will return for the 400th GTI Thursday in July. So a bit of a hiatus over the summer month, but we'll be back there for another milestone for us in GTI Thursday history, 400.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. When we started this, I don't think we were going for any number, but 400 seems pretty cool.
It's a good number. We look forward to seeing what combination will be picked for that. Anyway, let's go back to those qualifying results because we've got an enormous amount of winners and winners juniors car here tonight. Braz, we've got 9 winners cars. Someone should tell them that they can't all win.
No, but yeah, they showed up in strong force. But look at the grid. It's got just about every team is represented on the grid. Yeah, nice mixture of cars.
Tees me up nicely for the championship standings, of course, which we should take a look at now. The team's championship standing is being led by the winners team now, ahead of Born to Race. So there's been a bit of a change in our team's standings, Fraz, since we last had a conversation.
Yeah, like we say, winners is coming out in huge numbers. Boutoir is still well represented, but yeah, the drivers are pretty equal. And when you got more, you're going to get more points.
Yeah, that's the way it works in GTI Thursday. There's currently 6 Born to Race drivers in the server, 5 winners cars and 4 winners junior cars. So that's something to watch out for sure. I think winners are sort of counted as their own sort of conglomerate team, which is interesting, but there we go. That is the team standings as it currently sits, and we should take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings, which paints a slightly different picture. We have somebody out there in the very front, leading by an absolute mile. It is Joe Holmes ahead of Sufor, who is best of the rest, with Nelly Luca very close behind, and it's an interesting picture for second place here in this one for us.
Right, if we eliminate Joe Holmes, we've got a really good battle happening.
Well, exactly. I think that's fair to say. And yeah, the intrigue is from Sufor downwards at this point. We aren't halfway through the championship yet, but we are seeing a driver that is streaking clear at this point in time. Braz, we're going to the track. We are going to have a 25-lap race around Aston National. Take us away for the grid.
So we're going to have Joe Holmes lining up second with TJ taking pole today, and it is a huge grid. Look at that.
A good-looking grid,
yeah,
for sure.
It's a long run down to T1 here, and yeah, I don't know how wide they'll get. What do you think, Pete?
I think we're not going to see much breathing room, especially if people get a good slipstream off the line, as we do have cars rolling away and moving, and TJ takes up his position at the front.
And they're all getting in line here. And yeah, TJ's not going to last in the front here with Joe Holmes right behind him. And right behind Joe is Tattaroni.
Yeah, Joe's already moved to the outside. It's 3 wide up into turn 1. Tattarone on the inside line. Joe to the outside. And TJ being muscled out. Joe does the switch back to the inside. Tattarone takes over the lead. But it's Joe Holmes making his way through on TJ at this stage, which is pretty important. But Tattarone takes over the lead into turn 2.
Yeah, and looks like everyone looks pretty good at T1 here. We've got everyone's settling in. But yeah, we got Joe Holmes and Tattarone 2 wide as they're going to hit this hairpin coming up. Well, we're going to go 3 wide.
Very wide again, and it's TJ and Joe to the front. Tartarone outdone on the brakes. Joe runs wide onto the grass. You can see that we've got another car front of shot there, off onto the grass, and a few more drivers going off into the gravel. Sorry, as it's TJ who takes over the lead into the second hairpin as all the cars file through. TJ's gone wide, and Joe's taken over the lead. So Joe has done it. He's into first place, and he's opening up a small gap as we've got Sufor and Twin Cam, both were born to race in P4 and 5, side by side, chasing down TJ and Tatarone, who are side by side.
Yeah, we got everyone here running too wide. Tatarone and TJ right behind him is Twin Cam, and is that a Sufor?
It is, absolutely. But yeah, TJ hanging on for now, but he's got so many cars trying to slipstream. We've got Tatarone on the outside, and the Born to Race cars now trying to have an impact at the front of this race. Wuyak and Nanaluka right there as well. So lots of drivers eager to perform in this one. And don't forget, like I said in the pre-show, the straights here are long. It's not a slam dunk if you get to the front. You're going to be chased down by all the drivers behind who have got cars around them to slipstream off. But the great leveler is that final chicane, Fraz, that they all come through now. And Joe to the pits.
And look at that, Joe Holmes peels in.
Out of the lead. He had the track position and decides that he wants to do what he did last time out and go straight into the pits on the opening lap. That is a risky strategy, and we'll have to see what he does. Is he stationary for a long time?
It looks like he is.
He is.
Everyone else is going, so yeah.
What's he done? I mean, I don't know what happened there. He was stationary a long time. I'm guessing he's done some damage repair. Yeah, left rear damage repair to Joe's car. Guessing that was unscheduled. I didn't see that damage get inflicted, but maybe he thought that it was going to cost him. But anyway, he was stationary a long time there, but rejoins way down the order in P27 at the moment.
And up front, we got TJ breaking away from the pack. And yeah, it's a battle on for second. Twin Cam, yeah, being beaten up by the winners guys and Nally.
Yeah, we've not really paid attention to much else that's been going on because of the sort of pack racing nature of this class at this track. It is sort of its nickname is the Aston Oval, Fraz.
Yeah, there's so much drafting available here. Like you say, if you're in the lead, that's great. But if you're in second and third, as long as you're working together, you can make some damage. So where did Joe Holmes come back out?
He's out in 26th, so he's gained a place already, potentially with another car coming out of pit lane. But he was stationary for a good 8 to 10. Well, I want to say like at least. Yeah, it's 7.3 seconds, says Chris in my ear. There you go. About 8 seconds he was stationary. So that's a lot of time to make up, especially on drivers like TJ and Twin Cam and Nanaluka at the front.
Yeah. Most people do not repair their cars.
Yeah.
They're
was
willing
contact
to.
there. There must have been.
They're willing to.
In order to trigger the damage repair. So maybe there was quite a bit with the contact that TJ had.
Right, that's all I can think of. I didn't look that bad though.
No, but if it caused a damage repair to be triggered, it kind of been sort of insignificant. So let's see. Potentially a bent suspension arm, which can have a dramatic effect on your pace. As we've got a move for P2, Nanaluka to the inside on Twin Cam.
Yeah, let's see what's happening here. I think right behind them, more drafting happening.
Yeah, between the same teams.
Looks like cars have actually paired up here.
Yeah, Nanaluka takes over second place and overtakes Twin Cam, whereas Sufor has currently got the inside on Tartarone, who looked like he had a great run at the beginning of this race.
Somebody ran wide.
Yeah, it's Wuyak for Sim Racing Polska off at turn 1, running wide, and you lose so much time there, Fraz, when you get a car out on the gravel.
Yeah, you're lucky to just keep your car going. It's the main thing. I mean, yeah, and SRP running new skins this week.
I have to check those out. We've got Twin Cam briefly into P2, but Nanaluka back through again. And in the meantime, while these sort of 7 drivers behind TJ are battling. TJ's opened up almost a 2-second gap. Meanwhile, Joe has made it up to P25.
Right.
He's made another place.
They're more fighting each other than they could be cooperating. Like here's a
we know
perfect example.
we've done this long enough, Aston. The drivers in GTI Thursday, they don't care. Like, especially in the longer races, they can afford to have a bit of fun, let's say, but not for too long. They will need to cooperate eventually if they want to catch TJ, who you just see there is disappearing up the road. Chris has just checked the replay for us, and his damage was picked up by going wide into TJ at turn 1. That's where that was picked up. So potentially some network contact or something. Wasn't a lot, but it was enough to trigger some damage. So I'm guessing that potentially Joe had that setting on by accident, if it was such minor damage. But anyway, we'll never know, unless we ask him afterwards, of course. But it's happened, and he's got to work his way up from P24 now. But here comes TJ, just about to complete lap number 3, and there are a whole host of battles coming straight through after him, Frads. Nanaluka versus Twin Cam. In fact, Nanaluka's opened up a bit of a gap. Then it's Tartarone and Sufor, and then we've got Dodislav and Hernandez behind, also close together. And then the pack sort of spreads out after that point.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like, yeah. Such a good shot here, Chris.
Well, here's Joe Holmes coming back through the shot as he goes over start-finish. That's how much time he's got to make up.
See, he's not making his way through the pack. He's only up to 24th.
Yeah, he'll get little pieces of slipstream action, but he's still got to make overtakes, lots and lots and lots of overtakes, and that's going to be tricky for him, as we've got Neves here trying to overtake Hermani, and it looks like he's done that. P22, and there's still a side-by-side battle here between Hachiroku and Sufor into turn 3. Hachiroku on the move.
Yeah, so they're trying to chase down Tatarone.
Yeah, Tatarone seems to be going up and down. He obviously had a really good start. He was in the lead temporarily, but now he's dropped down to 4th. It was lower than that. I think it was 5th. But he's made his way back up to a comfortable buffer, just ahead of Sufor at the moment.
So it looks like we got some drafting happening here.
Yeah, Hachiroku pushing Sufor up the hill.
Looking to get by Sufor. And no, he doesn't get it done. I mean, yeah, Sufor is now on the back of Tatarone.
Yeah, but here comes the long straight, and Hachiroku's got enough gap that he can try and get a good exit. Yeah, Sufor's messed this up a little bit, and Hachiroku's going to get a monster toe. Look, Sufor even bumped the tyres coming out of the final corner. So Hachiroku is going to be straight past him.
I think I would have did a quick lift and stayed behind him a bit, but that's me being an oval racer where I want to wait.
Yep, Sufor's coming back at him now. Both of them trying to close down on Tartarone, who is at this point being allowed to move ahead. Sufor elects to stay behind, potentially wants to work together with Hachiroku, and now we get a good view of that new SRP livery you were talking about. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, it's I like it. Yeah, again, like they got lots of long straights here to work on. I think they're picking a bad spot here, but yeah, this is their problem. They're battling each other way too much, I think.
Yeah, they're allowed to do this for a few laps longer, and then they just have to stop doing it. Otherwise, well, there you are.
We got
That's
contact.
one way not to do turn 3. Hachiroku dive bombing to try and make the move on Sufor, and tags the back of a completely unsuspecting driver up ahead. It was Tatarone that he hit.
And now Sufor's got Dodoslav right behind him. And right behind Dodoslav's Hernandez.
Yeah, Hachiroku actually completely withdrew from the race at that point. He gave up. He's gone. So he wasn't happy with himself and removed himself from the race. But actually, I think he came off worse in that incident. I don't think Tatarone was that much affected by it.
No. I think now he's sideways at a really bad place, so maybe just spectating was the safe thing to do.
Here's Hernandez going up the inside of Dodislav. And he's through. Hernandez P6 then. Next car,
So Dodoslav
Sufor.
just wants to stay on Hernandez's rear bumper here, get a good exit, and get that nice draft.
Yeah, and he's going to get that straight away as the cars behind him bump their way over the curb, over the curbs of the final chicane. Hernandez going defensive. Meanwhile, up front, Sufor is now ahead of Tartarone. So that's a change that's happened over the final couple of corners.
It looks like Tatarone battling back here. Dodoslav making his pass again.
Yeah, and we're going to see this all race long. Drivers just exchanging places up the home straight, and there you are. Tartarone back into P4, but he's gone deep. And Sufor on the tighter line should have the advantage here. Although Tatarone's made the outside work quite nicely. Yeah, Sufor drops in behind. Various different lines you can take through that first corner. It all depends on momentum and just the amount of grip level that the driver on the outside has. Here we go.
Right, it's a fabulous turn if nothing goes wrong. I mean,
It's such a clever
there
corner.
are four lines out there.
Yeah, it's a genius piece of corner design, that one, and it's so unpredictable. You're really at the mercy of the other driver that you go into that corner side by side with as to who comes out in the lead. And at the moment, it looks like Hernandez has lost touch with Dodislav, Sufor, and Tartarone. But if the rest of this race is anything to go by, he'll be back with them in no time.
So we've got here we are back up with TJ, and yeah, his gap's still pretty big.
Yeah, growing, in fact.
Yeah, looks pretty stable up front. We got Nally running second, Twin Cam in third. Here's where it gets interesting, though, the battle for fourth.
Yeah, drivers ahead have settled into a rhythm. They're not close to one another. And everybody else behind is losing time. Joe Holmes, not even into the... where is he? Joe's gone. Joe's left the race.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't long ago, but I can't pinpoint exactly when it was. But he has withdrawn from tonight's action, unfortunately. So there we go. Big points for Sufor tonight then, over Joe. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take many of these sort of incidents to encroach on someone's championship lead. Sufor just needs to keep putting in the results and take advantage of all of the sort of mishaps and unfortunate situations with his championship rival.
Right, everyone's going to have a... you can't be expected to attend every race. You're going to have computer problems. You're going to have vacation. So, all you can do is keep your head down, attend.
Yeah.
And finish good as your Sufor.
Yeah. Sufor is currently having his work cut out by Tatarone, however. But they'll be having fun out there, and that is, of course, more crucial than anything.
Right. Winning a championship is nice, but even better is when you can come here, battle with a car, feel confident that you can battle with that car, and have fun, race your ass off. Yeah, and kickstart your weekend with GTI Thursday.
Exactly. Well, if ever there was a better advertisement or a better point in the broadcast to advertise the fact that GTI Thursday is a weekly championship in Live for Speed in two of the most accessible cars in the game, the XFG and XRG, of course. Come and join us.
So I'm trying to keep my eye on Trespasser. He's up to 7.
Yep, 13 seconds to the lead. Very evenly matched on pace with TJ. But has he got the pace in him to tackle TJ as Magic there, losing a place or battling hard with Pekka Koivunen, who moves up to P11. Not seen Pekka in a while. Pekka getting through there, up into P11, as we've got Sufor in the pit. Interesting time to decide to pit. He's been battling very, very hard with Tartarone for lap after lap after lap, and maybe that's a sign that he doesn't want to keep doing that, and he wants to find some space to circulate on his own for a bit.
Now, we understand that, but where's he going to come out? Who's going to be around him?
Rayman, his teammate, but other than that, nobody. Rayman's already been in the pits, I think.
That worked out well for him.
Yeah, Sufor's the highest placed car now who has pitted. So this is our benchmark to keep an eye out for the rest of the race. Sufor currently leading of those who have made a pit stop, and it's clear that even though he's been fighting, it's worked over his teammate Rayman, who is supremely fast in this car on his day. So yeah, happy times for Sufor, and he's got nobody around him. He can just focus on his race and let everyone else at the front squabble with each other in the hope that he makes up a few places come lap 25.
I think we might have missed Dotislaw in the pits.
I think we may have done.
Back out in 16th.
Just in behind Sufor, so that's all the gap was. But he's got Rayman ahead of him to deal with first. And it will depend on the strategy that TJ has chosen, of course, as to when he decides to come into the pit lane. But I'm going to guess, as TJ normally does, he's going to keep track position as long as he can and come in fairly late.
Absolutely. If I'm out front, I'm staying out front. Yeah, I don't think you're going to run into blue flags today. No back markers. You just keep going.
Yeah, whichever back markers you do come against, it's not going to be inexperienced ones. This is a fairly experienced grid tonight. Everybody knows how to deal with blue flags. As Tartarone here, coming over start-finish. Yeah, I'm noticing actually that the gap between Trespasser and TJ isn't changing all that much. Trespasser's not really making his way to the front. Here he is. Has the fastest lap there, though, having just said that. But not by much, not by much.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah, the differential in lap times is very small.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. This is okay. There's only four corners on this track, really. But it's super technical. It's so easy to lose time, and once you lose time, there's no getting it back. It's gone. There's nowhere really to gain an advantage once you have made a mistake. So it is all about perfection. It's all about those hundredths of a second, and of course, obviously, the pit stop is a big factor in this, because you don't want to be doing a drive-through. That will cost you 10 seconds plus, and it's a very long straight in which to have to slow down and then regain all that speed again. So actually, the penalty is quite big. So the drivers really do need to concentrate and not mess up.
Right. You get in this infield section here, you got to nail these turns.
Yeah.
We saw Joe run wide.
Yeah, I mean, the sorts of driving techniques that the top drivers use through the hairpins especially is absolutely outrageous. You know, the sort of the line that they take, their pose with the car. Sometimes they use a dab of handbrake to get it turned around. It's great. It's kind of crazy. And you know, the difference between somebody who's used to it and is experienced and a rookie is staggering. The amount of time you can gain and lose in the two hairpins alone is astounding. It can make or break a lap.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna make your time, obviously. Or in this case, if you can find your drafting partner and work together, they can get up to the front, maybe.
Yeah, the amount of time that Trespasser gained on the brakes on Hernandez there was staggering as well. We'll see how the gap comes down. Trespasser tries to make his way towards the front, but no gains on our race leader for that are sort of big enough to talk about, really. As TJ goes over start finish to start lap number 10, we're watching the rear view camera of the 5th place driver Hernandez at the moment, as he goes on to lap 10 as well. And yeah, Trespasser is closing him down, but the gap to the race leader went there. Once again, slightly slower than TJ that lap. So yeah, we're talking fractions of a tenth of a second here between Trespasser and TJ.
Right. If he gets the draft, if he's able to use Hernandez at any point, yeah, the differential will be taken away right there. Yeah, but apparently they're both evenly matched.
Yeah, very much so. Hernandez has sort of fallen into a nice rhythm here. He's up to P5, and there's not really much anybody else can do about it at this stage. But we will see again from the onboard how the gap changes between now, keep an eye on it, and after the hairpins. Let's see how Trespasser gets on. Yeah, hugely experienced in the XRG, and well, would you look at that? The gap has come down to next to nothing after the first hairpin, and Hernandez slightly wide.
He's on the inside here.
It could be close. I don't think he'll have the slipstream here. I think he'll need to wait a little bit longer, but it's getting closer. But yeah, look at that. The gap has come down by at least half. Oh, he's got a slight toe. So this
Yeah,
could
but
be
he's
a home
too
straight
far
job.
back to get him, I think. But yeah, he'll be able to hopefully stay on his bumper and yeah, get him on the next long straight.
That is a demonstration of how important the other pedal is at ES3. The brake pedal is super important. It's often overlooked by drivers. They're often worried about their line or, their top speed. You've also got to practice slowing down quickly as well. Making the best use of the time on the brakes is as important, if not more important, especially at a track like this, where you spend most of the time on the accelerator. And look at that. Trespasser now hooked to the rear of Hernandez, pulls out of the slipstream, and they're going to drag each other up the main straight.
Yeah, we're going side by side, door to door racing here.
Yeah, Trespasser's pulled out maybe slightly early. He's put himself in a compromised position for turn number 1. He may just about be ahead before we arrive there, but Hernandez has every right to just keep nose up the inside. No, Trespasser is now ahead. Hernandez pulls behind, and we have a change for the P5.
Yeah, let's see if Trespasser gets released here. If Hernandez might have been holding him back a bit. I don't think he was, but oh no, Hernandez sticking right with Trespasser and back on his rear bumper.
Well, Trespasser won't want him to cause any delays. So he'll want to be trying to pull ahead, and all he needs to do is do what he did last lap and absolutely nail this final hairpin, and hope Hernandez doesn't have a slipstream. Yeah, Trespasser's on the power so much earlier than Hernandez before the apex, and I think that'll be that.
Yeah, I think the gap might be too big here for Hernandez to get to the draft. We got Magic battling with Theron. It's a battle on for 10th.
Yeah, 'cause, 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 ' Yeah, Magic also on YouTube, streaming his perspective as always. And I'm sure he'd be quite happy with the top 10 if he could get past Roan here.
Yeah, anywhere in the top 10 is pretty spectacular day, I would think. I mean,
Look at this, though.
yeah,
I would say
there's
that
so many
Sufor
good
is in
drivers here
traffic
who are
here.
so close in their times.
Sufor's in traffic here, Fraz. He's going to have to try and get past this winner's car. This is Lautaro. He's side by side on the home straight, but I want to say that he was definitely slowed down on the run down the hill. So this is sort of uncomfortable for him because he's pitted way earlier than I expected him to in this race. He is through at the moment. We'll see if Lautaro comes back at him, and he will do. He's in a competitor team. I'd be very surprised if Lautaro doesn't have a go here, and he is. Look, he's going alongside. He's causing Sufor a headache.
And behind him, it's a battle between Dadaslaw and Rayman.
Yeah, this is bad for Sufor because obviously, well, he's battling for the podium, and now he's being held up by a driver that wasn't really anywhere at the beginning of the race, and now is causing him a headache. Perfectly within his right to, of course. They're on different strategies, but they're racing for racing for position. Lautaro's going to have him again here, and Sufor is just losing time to Twin
with his car. I don't know what Sufor is going to do here.
Oh, look how
late
close
break and try to get undercut here.
Close Rayman got there. Oh my.
Yeah, it's winner's boudoir battle here.
Yeah, but it's the wrong one. It's not the one that they want to be fighting. So Nani Luca and Tatarone are basically all on their own now with Twin Cam, and I'd say that Rayman and Sufor have got themselves into a spot of bother with the other winners' cars. Great for winners, not good for the Born to Race.
So we're looking for Sufor to make another move. Oh, Trespasser up to fifth. So he's breaking away.
But yeah, Sufor, yet again, stuck behind Lautaro, and let's see if he can get through before the final hairpin this time. He has done, and that's potentially critical. Rayman, the opposite in the background. It seems like they're always doing the opposite thing. Sufor and Rayman either getting overtaken or doing the overtaking, never the same thing at the same time. And now Sufor has the chance to break clear. He's got a good run through the chicane, and that should be that. He should be free again, but he's lost a whole lap, maybe more. We didn't catch this early enough, I don't think, but now he's broken free.
It looks like Rayman has had Dodslaw's draft, so he might be able to get by. As we're back on TJ here, lap 13. He's got a 5.5 second lead.
To put it into perspective, Sufor's last lap time was over a second slower than TJ. And you're not going to get that time back. That time is gone. So Sufor is losing a chunk of time on our race leaders, or did. And TJ,
as long as you're driving side by side, you're not making any time on the guy who's hitting all his lines. He's taking the best line. He's just going to be faster.
And with that, we are halfway through the race. They've just gone over the sector line. And let's reset the order. It's TJ with a 5.6 second lead over winners Naliluka. Then it's Twin Camp for Born to Race. Second in the Teams Championship, just behind winners. That is your provisional podium for now. Then it's Tartarone. He's currently down there in P4 with Trespasser trying to close in. Only 1.92 seconds between Trespasser and his next potential overtake. 14.4 seconds off the lead, though. He is dropping back from TJ at this stage of the race. However, we don't know what strategy they're on, so we're kind of in the dark at the moment as to whether that's going to change. Then it's Hernandez, who got passed by Trespasser just a minute ago. He's in P6 with Wujek closing in for Sim Racing Polska. Then it's World Class Lions, the only representative from WCL in tonight's action. It's Pekka Koivunen in P8 with Brain Brayan in P9, ahead of Hrone, our top 10. Raz, a good mix of teams, as you said, and good to see it as well.
Yeah, yeah, that looks so good when there's so many different teams here competing, and everyone's competing well.
Yeah, we do have sort of two immensely large groups of drivers, of course, born to race and winners, and single entries from World Class Lines and Race Green tonight. But we do have a couple of Sim Racing Polska drivers, as we always do. Hachiroku, who left, and Wujek, now the sole remaining SRP car in this race, currently in P7. On his own now, chasing down Hernandez. So potentially Hernandez with another battle to defend at some point in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, again, Hernandez he's been racing phenomenal today. He's hitting all his marks. Yeah, I don't know if Booyah can catch him, but we're going on board with Rayman here. Because he's going door to door with Naliuka, is it? Oh, it's Dodislav.
Yeah. It's on the outside though, and they're not leaving each other any room, which is fantastic. Rayman trying to do the
This
move.
looks cool, but they're not making ground up. And oh, Dodislav ran wide. Rayman comes back out, door to door.
Yeah, and contact as well. So that's definitely not the fastest way around the track. I miss pack racing in the XRG. It's great fun, especially when you're around similarly paced people. But it can get frustrating, of course, when you're just side by side, constantly up and down every single straight, and that seems to be the sort of rut that Rayman and Dodislav have got themselves into.
Yeah, but Rayman had the opportunity there to duck in behind, I thought, and yeah, pick up the draft and then make the pass again. But he elected to stay side by side.
Yeah, but look how much time they've lost to Sufor. Sufor's up and round the hairpin now. They were in touching distance only a couple of laps ago. So yeah, and looking again, even just out of the hairpin, back side by side. At some point, something's got to give. Rayman's going to lead them through the chicane, but we're going to be back into the same dance again as Wujek does make the move, or is trying to make the move rather, on Hernandez over start finish. This is another move for what are we on, P6 there now for Wujek, if he can make it stick.
Yeah, well, Wujek definitely waited for his pass to happen. He waited all the way to that big turn. And yeah, that makes the pass much easier. He's easily cleared Mr. Hernandez, and Hernandez now battling back. Can he stay on Wujek's rear bumper? Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, but a great
So now we're going
slingshot
to come
and good
down
move.
to this left-handed hairpin. Yeah, let's see who does the outbraking here.
I think Hernandez has outbraked himself on that one, Fraz. And I think Wujek has stamped his name on that position. As I just want to point out again that, yeah, Rayman still battling side by side with Dodislav. Nothing's going to change here.
Oh, and look at that. Yeah, they don't want to stop.
No, but Rayman has actually got ahead that time. Dodislav went way too deep into the first hairpin. I had sort of expected Lautaro to get away more than he has done, but maybe that's just a sign that his pace is not quite there compared to the others around him. I mean, Sufor is absolutely checked out now. The gap's over, almost over 2 seconds ahead of Lautaro. But we are then just waiting.
The front of his car is a little beat up, so he might have a little bit of damage, Lautaro. But yeah, these guys are getting Dodislav on the rear bumper.
Lautaro's also not stopped, so his pace is slightly sort of masked by the fact that these guys are battling. Lautaro still has to bring his car down pit lane, whereas all the cars around him have already stopped. Sufor being the car that has pitted, well, it is leading of those who have pitted still, and that's P13. But I fully expect, as who is that causing a roadblock
Lautaro
through the
loses it.
chicane? It is Lautaro, and it's gone completely wrong. Takes that moment to pit, but he's hampered his teammate so much to the point that maybe Donislav's lost the slipstream there.
I think so, yeah, he just lost it on that exit of that turn.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be Lautaro, but yeah, it is. Is Lautaro going to stop? Did Lautaro take a pit stop? Lautaro did make a pit stop, but didn't repair damage, unlike Joe Holmes, and is up there. As I think Tartarone has just been passed as well. I think Tartarone's made a mistake actually, because that pass has happened way too fast. Trespass has just moved up to P4, and Tartarone has lost a place, and the gap's too big for that to have been anything other than a mistake.
Yeah, so Tartarone now in 5th. He's got Wuyak behind him. Behind Wuyak is Hernandez, then it's Pekka. Yeah, but yeah, I thought the gap was way too big to each other. So Tartarone must did a big mistake to let Trespasser go by.
Yeah, it's a turn one off, I'm guessing, and he's lost a load of time, and Trespass has just been able to whip through. But that is 5 seconds off a podium then for Trespasser, but he's got some fast guys to catch up to. Twin Cam first of all, and honestly, in the laps we've got left, that's a tall order. As TJ has opened up another second over Trespasser to stretch the podium. Here's Omar and VM Carls. Carls in the Subaru livery there, as usual.
This is a battle on for 24th.
Yeah, I love mentioning these sorts of fights. It's the fight for 25th, actually, but it's proof that it doesn't matter where you are on the grid, there's always somebody to fight.
Right. It doesn't matter how fast you are. That's what I say. At least you come here, you can have a lot of fun because you can have confidence with the driver you're racing with. So you get to, drive door to door. Yeah, you can just do it better than what you could in a pickup race.
Side by side between Loco and Lautaro here. Lautaro, after coming out of the pits, has found another Born to Race driver to have a battle with. But when you've got, what is it? It's 15. That maths took me way longer than it should have done. 15 winners in Born to Race cars. You are statistically more likely to find yourself battling one of them than anyone else. As Sufor is on the move, and he's caught up to, would you guess it, a winner's car. A winner's junior car. It's Kashik. Kashik has yet to pit, of course. This shouldn't be too difficult. And look at that, Rayman is so far back. Sufor's pace has been great since he's managed to clear the battle. And Kashik doesn't make this difficult at all, moves over and allows Sufor through.
Yeah, that was no battling at all. Boo. Just maybe setting him up for the return fight here.
I don't think so. I think the gap's already gone. Magic did make it up to P10. He's gotten through on H-Roan, and like he's on his way to a solid top 10 at least. And let's see how he gets on. Yet to make a stop, of course, which could impact things, but so far so good. As we head on to lap 18. Vladislav is back in Rayman's draft, but again, tell me something new. This has been their life for the last 44 and a half minutes. Been glued together the whole time.
I'm not sure Doddleslaw can get him here before this turn. And yeah, he's not going to. But that doesn't matter. He comes out right on the bumper. We know they're going to go door-to-door racing here. They know they're going to go door-to-door racing.
There isn't a person alive that doesn't know they're going to go door-to-door racing. And, well, there we go.
There we go. Here it's on. The battle is on.
It's not fast, but it's fun. So yeah, we'll leave them to it. They can do their merry dance till the end of the race. While we talk about TJ, who now has an 8-second lead. He can pit, he can repair pretty much anything he wants to, and he'll still come out in the lead. 34 seconds back to Sufor. Sufor just lost way too much time fighting with other cars. TJ's got complete control of this race. However, after that point, it becomes a little bit of an unknown. Depends how Sufor has been doing in comparison to Nanaluka and Twincam, who we just saw in the back of the shot, taking a less than optimal line through the final chicane. Bouncing all over the place. And then, lurking in the background is somebody who's ready to spoil everybody's afternoon. It's Twincam. It's Trespasser. I've just talked about Twincam. Wake up. Trespasser, who is now only 3 seconds off Twincam. As Magic pits.
Yeah, we're on lap 19 now, so yeah, I think we can slowly start expecting more cars in. And yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
we got
that's the
a
least
winners
surprising
and a
thing I've seen all
car
day.
door to door. As Rayman and Doddleslaw continue this battle.
Going to be a dice roll, whichever one of those two ends up ahead of each other. Oh, maybe not. Dodislav's completely thrown it off the track. And, well, I think the die is cast.
Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake. Yeah, he'll have to start worrying about the car coming behind him.
Yeah, Dodislav might be in a fight with another Born to Race driver in a minute if he's not careful. It's going to be Kingy. And I want to see. Magic came out in P16. He pitted in P10. And the gap to P10 is only 10 seconds. So if TJ can eke out another 2 seconds before he pits, he might actually. Yeah, he won't have to worry much about anything, will he? Neither will Nanaluka if he keeps going. And Sufor, well, that'll be the biggest disappointment of everybody, I think, because he might end up not even getting P5 in this race. But anyway, here comes TJ. He's about to start lap number 20. 6 laps to go in round 20 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in 2025. And holds the fastest lap. Has an 8-second lead. And 5 laps in which to do his pit stop.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting everyone to come in on the final lap. Or the final 2 laps at least. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to come in before out of the leaders here.
I don't know. Trespasser might be tempted.
Well, yeah, he might have to try something different, right? But
yeah,
I mean, he is in clear air.
We've got some drivers coming in on this lap. We've got H-Rone and Brian. And let's see if Magic has done enough to get through. He's coming over start finish now. Should be. I don't know if he'll get Brian though.
I think he'll get Roan because he's carrying so much speed
Roan's
right now.
there. Roan's the next car up the road now. Yeah, he should get Roan before the first
carrying
corner.
way too much speed.
But the winner's car is too far ahead, so he'll have to close up and catch him the hard way. But there we go, side by side with Roan into turn one. Has the job done initially.
Again, and this was a battle at one time. 4/10.
Yeah, he got it. He's like,
yeah. Roan was leading Magic, and now, the battle's back on.
Yeah, and Roan has the inside, crucially, and well, it looks like Magic has actually lost out at the pit stop phase, and he has a battle on his hands for P15. Yeah, Roan leads into the first hairpin, crucially. Well, TJ's coming up to finish another lap. We'll wait and see if he comes into pits before we turn our gaze away to something else.
I'm always amazed at how tight they come to these tires here.
We'll let you watch them for a bit then, Fraz.
Yeah, that just looks so cool.
There's Trespasser taking an excursion. And, well, that's even more of an excursion from Tartarone there. And Wuyek's had a brilliant line. He might be closing up to Tartarone at some point.
And there's Pekka. Oh, that was a great looking picture here.
That's Kashik going through shot. That's Rayman. And Dodislav. Oh. Bump of the tyres for Kingy. And Retro B to ask him for Loco.
Oh, I think it was handy that those tires weren't there for that
he
one
smashed those
combo.
for sure. And Rocket. Well, there we go. Some cameras just for you, Chris.
Such a cool chicane.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. It's such a unique feature of this track, and it is definitely the level up. It's probably one of the only really crucially difficult parts of this track. The only dice roll, because of how good the physics and Live for Speed are. One toe out of line, and it will completely change the complexion of your final chicane and the amount of speed you're able to carry up the home straight.
Now, unfortunately, people do hit those tires, send them flying, and then we got another thing happening. But yeah, we are on lap 21. Now Yuka for winners in second. Yeah, we're pretty sure they're going to pit on the last lap here. Now he will stay out.
Yeah, it's a big gap though. Yeah, TJ will stay out until the last minute. Hernandez pits now from P7.
Looks like Trespasser down to about just over 3 seconds to Twin Cam now.
2.39, so not far at all to go. But we don't have enough laps left. I don't think the gap between... Yeah, the gap is not coming down fast enough. The gap was 5 seconds 10 laps ago, so I think Twin Cam is doing just enough.
Yeah, we got Wuyek in. We have
Kashik is
finished
leaving the
this
pits, and that's Loco going through. So Loco's made a move there. And a whole host of other drivers making up places as well. And H-Rone and Brian are now making a battle with each other. In fact, H-Rone has made quite a bit of time. Magic has dropped back slightly. So H-Rone's on the move. He's got past Brian.
Magic looking to use Brain's draft here. But he's just going to go for the blow by.
Yeah. Magic capitalizing on that. And he's through. And back with H-Rone. And now we look again to the front to see whether or not our leaders are going to blink. We're expecting pit stops from Hermione, Koivunen, Wujek, Tatarone, Trespasser, Tunkam, Nanaluka, and TJ. As well as Summit there, all the way at the back.
So again, Sufor is our... Oh no, Dalswa is our highest driver who's pitted now. Is that correct?
Sufor is our highest placed driver who's pitted. They're in P8.
Oh, yeah, Sufor in 8, that.
But I don't think any of these guys are coming out anywhere close to the top 4. I think Tartarone is the only driver in the top drivers who's sort of at risk of losing a place, and it'll be to Sufor if it's anybody. But honestly, Sufor lost so much time battling that I'm not really sure he's going to feature highly on our finishing order. I know high is relative, but anyway, he'll be there. He'll be somewhere near the top, but it's not going to be a podium, that's for sure. There's too much time lost battling, and the top drivers have just been way too consistent tonight for anyone else to sort of make an impact that pitted early.
Yeah, we haven't seen a mistake from TJ, Nally, or Twin. I mean, yeah, they've been racing in clear air. Here comes the Trespasser, though.
Yeah, the gap looks small, but it's actually huge. That's at this pace, that's at least 5 to 10 laps of time that he would need to close that gap at his current pace, if not more, to be perfectly honest.
Oh yeah, once you're in the cockpit of the car, you do see how far ahead Twin Cam is.
Yeah, 2 seconds doesn't look like a lot, but it is when there's 4 braking zones on the track, if that. So yeah, but anyway, here comes TJ. He's got 2 more opportunities to pit, this lap and next lap, and then that's it. So what's he going to do? He has nothing to risk. He's not going to come in now. He'll leave it till the last possible chance. He's not defending from anybody.
Yeah, he's got no lap traffic in front of him. Yeah, he's got no problems anywhere.
Well, there's been a lot of learnings tonight, and
he's
proving us wrong.
And here he comes.
He's just decided, you know what? I'll come in 2 laps before the end. Why not? Well, that should mean that we will have potentially... Oh, no, actually... Nanaluka, is he? Yeah, he is through. He's going to register a lead lap. There you go. Nanaluka registers a lap in the lead. So, well, that's a start.
Yep, Twin Cam should get him.
Yep.
There goes Twin. What about Trespasser here?
Trespasser will get...
This is going to be tight. Oh, yeah, but Tres carrying way more speed.
Unless he was fuel limited, that's a slightly unnecessary risk, I would have said. If he'd have come out side by side with Trespasser, anything could have happened. I don't think they would have knocked each other off, but you never know. Yeah, anyway. Pekka Koivunen also leaving the pit lane. And what happened? What happened there? I think Wujek lost some time. No, he didn't. Ignore me. It was Trespasser. No, it's Pekka Koivunen dropping down the order that threw me off, and Pekka Koivunen loses a place to a Rayman as well.
Yeah, so Pekka now currently running 10th. and looking to battle back on Raymond.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. 2-4 is it's going to be close, right? I think the battle between Tatarone and Sufor is sort of the only intrigue really left in this race. We know what the podium's going to look like, unless Twincam makes an error. But Tatarone and Sufor could be a close one. So let's see. Nanaluka is leading, but after he pits, and Twincam pits, and Trespasser pits, it's going to be this man, TJ, taking back the lead of the race. I bet Trespasser wishes that he had a few more laps left in this race and he might have been able to get a podium out of it, but the gap is still over, just over 2 seconds. 2 seconds, 0.09 at the last sector line. And Pekka Koivunen is not done yet. He's making a move on Rayman. Rayman has seen some action tonight for us. He's been in a battle every lap, pretty much. At least one battle every lap.
Yeah, at least now he's at least battling a world-class Lions car instead of a winner's car. Which,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's the 3 cars in the pit lane. In fact, we've got another one in the background. That's Tatarone as well that we need to keep an eye on. Nanaluka leaves the pits first. Then it'll be Twincam.
Then Trespasser.
And then Tatarone. But we need to keep an eye on the back of the picture, as you see there, just coming out of the final corner. It's Sufor. Will Sufor take P5 in this race? It's going to be close. Yeah, he's going to get it.
He's going to be carrying so much speed.
Yeah, Tatarone is there on the left shot, and Sufor is going to say thanks a lot, but in the end, P5 for Sufor.
So yeah, now we got TJ back in the lead.
Magic and H Road having a battle again.
Here.
Yeah, this is for P13. Back and forth, these two.
Yep, Magic and Roan here.
Coming up to the final sector for TJ. He's comfortably in the lead by almost 9 seconds over Nanaluka. Nanaluka's done a great job, so too has Twincam, to keep it ahead of Trespasser. That's no mean feat. The gap down to 1.6 seconds there, but it's not enough. Trespasser needed a couple more laps. As he comes up to the final corner.
It's been all TJ though today.
It has indeed. It looked like it was going to be an interesting strategy from Joe Holmes, but Joe, with a little bit of damage inflicted on his car in a collision with TJ at the first corner, has meant that he retired after accidentally repairing it in the pit stop, we think. It looks like Magic has managed to open up a gap on H. Roan as TJ's hazard lights come on Fraz as he begins to wind down and celebrate his victory in round 20 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday in 2025 in Live for Speed. A great victory showing everyone just what he's made of. Flashes the headlights, crosses start finish. 9 seconds in the end ahead of Nanaluka, who will take over P2. 59 minutes that race, just shy of an hour, and there you go, 8.9 the gap to Nanaluka. That's phenomenal pace from Nanaluka, that Fraz, to do that against TJ.
Yeah, just like again, flawless driving by the guys up front. Yeah, TJ just wasn't going to be beat today. I mean, he's a 5-time champ.
Yeah, and your podium rounded out by Twincam and Trespasser. Well, I bet he wished he had a couple more laps. What was the gap in the end? 1.5 seconds, 1.53 seconds. And Sufor finishes P5 in the end in this one. But yeah, TJ, it was never in doubt, really. And well, there he is. While we wait for everybody else to finish, Waiting for a couple
But
of
yeah,
cars.
just an action-filled race. I mean, so much door-to-door action today. It was crazy.
Yeah, Aston National is definitely a track that is happy to drive with the GTI, as we've got Carl's stuck after turn one. Oh no, not after turn one. He's almost approaching the final corner. He's got no fuel. This has happened before. This isn't the first
This
time
happens
Carl's has run out
more
of
than,
fuel.
yeah.
Is anyone going to be able to rescue him? Ecker's on his way, but I think LFS is going to spectate him.
Yeah, but it's such a long track. It takes them so long to get there.
I think LFS is going to kick Carl's out before anybody else can make it round. Unless Logic has got some sort of server settings on that prevent it. But anyway, Carl's is waiting, and we're waiting as well because we want to get everyone on our results before we read them out. There's a few cars now speeding around the track. Nobody going round in the wrong direction. Carl's is calling out for help. We're calling out for help in commentary. But is anybody on their way? Pecker's not got the memo, has he, Fraz? He's driving extremely slowly, but he's going to see Carl's eventually.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows where he is, and they don't want to go by him. Like, I don't know where Charles is on track.
Carl's is just coming up to the final hairpin. Oh, Pecker, what are you doing? Surely he's going to see him there on the right-hand side and help push him up the hill. No, we're just going to drive past. We're just going to drive past.
We're just going to drive
Pecker's
by.
out for a Sunday drive. Oh, there we go. Omar's coming. Hero. Pecker, what were you doing? Anyway, Omar's going to help us out. The irony here is that Omar's going to push Carl's past Pecker. Anyway, yeah. While we wait for the race to actually finish for us, that was pretty good fun. It was the sort of race you expect from Aston National, but everybody decided tonight to choose the XRG, which is not really that unusual.
No, I think you pretty much have to with the long straights.
Can be a nice challenge to try and keep the XFG relevant, but you are pretty much hamstringing yourself, aren't you? You're not making your afternoon particularly easy.
You're not racing for the win.
No,
because you're just not going to beat Joe Holmes with an XFG.
Unless Joe's driving an XFG,
Right.
in which case you have half a chance. Well, they've overtaken Pecker. Possible Pecker didn't have enough fuel. I think he's actually out of fuel himself. Is he? No, he's not. Pecker's still got fuel. Anyway, cross start finish. Happy to say, one final shove from H-Rone just to seal the deal. We have a full result, so let's go through it. In 59 minutes and 53 seconds, 0.35, it's TJ for Fraser who scores yet another victory to add to his huge tally of wins and results in FM GTI Thursday, followed by Nanaluka, a respectable 8.9 seconds back. It sounds maybe like a lot. It's really not. That's a great result against TJ. Twin Cam, another good result for him in P3, getting another podium, 14 seconds back. Best of the rest is Trespasser. Almost made it, but needed a few more laps to affect the podium on this occasion. With Sufor, who, well, really, you've got to put that down to his strategy, I think, Fraz. He cost himself a lot of time by pitting early.
Yeah, he pitted early and, just couldn't come back and get the clean air.
Yeah, Tartarone, a good effort. P6 definitely affected the front, affected a lot of drivers' races in a good way, providing us with plenty of action. With Wujek, Hernandez, Rayman, and Peggy Koivunen, your top 10. Dodislav, Kingy, Magic, H-Rone, Brian, Loco, Neuroticat, Thambu, Kashik, and Lautaro in P20. And then over on our second screen, we have some finishers and DNFs. We've got Nacho, Rocket, JJ Rajo, Omar, who was Carl's saviour at the end there, Wino Good, Hermani, Samet and Carl's there, your final finisher in P28, though not really, was helped across the line by Omar. Then it's Irup, Cubs, Pedro Neves, Petranas, Joe Holmes, and Hachiroku, non-finishers, rounding out the 34 cars that started the race. The best lap goes to TJ at 2:22.26, and that is it for round 20. You can join the series again next week for round 21. That was the race we were supposed to be broadcasting. However, due to some calendar flipping around, we are doing tonight's instead, and we'll be back in July for the 400th GTI Thursday, the first of two milestones this year, before, of course, the 8th anniversary special, which is going to be interesting in September. But yeah, Fraz, thanks again for joining me for your series, GTI Thursday.
Oh, that was a lot of fun today. I mean, door-to-door action everywhere. I mean, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed it.
I'm sure they did. I mean, yeah, I'm sure the drivers enjoyed it for sure, because it's hard to not enjoy pack racing around Aston, and that is for sure. But yes, thank you everybody for tuning in to watch another episode of GTI Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want more, you can tune in to our channel next week for Roni's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, which is a slightly different offering. It's going to be at West Hill International without the chicane in the Furiously Fast Formula BMW. The BMW Sauber, not the Formula BMW, the BMW Sauber, the BF1. And that will be on Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock UTC. 6 o'clock UTC. And yeah, that should be, I think it's longer than a Grand Prix distance, Raz. So it's a very, very long race. Or in fact, it might be slap on a Grand Prix distance race. So we hope you can join us for that. The next GTI Thursday will be, as I mentioned, in July. So we hope we will see you on the broadcast for that for round 27. But yeah, thanks, Raz. From all of us here at Sim Broadcast, you have a great evening, and we'll see you all on the next one. Good night.